Hey, I'm trying to get into this quickly. Today I went to Short Beach in Tillamook, which is one of my favorite places for looking for agates, with some members of my family, my mom, my uncle Eric, and my girlfriend Taylor. So I'm gonna jump straight into it, but I had a lot of fun today. We found almost a pound and a half worth of agates just from combing the beach for a few hours. So I'm gonna show you kind of the method of how I do it today, and I'm gonna show you some of the highlights and some of the best pieces we found and what I'm kind of explain what I'm planning on doing with them. So let's get into it.
Hey, I just wanted to say really quick before we get too far into the video, some of the audio here doesn't pick up well because I was on a windy beach, obviously, so I might just pop in from time to time, so be prepared for that.
Lots of little agates around here. I just saw one. Where'd it go? There it is. Oh, look at this one right here. That is a nice little agate.
Oh my God! Wow!
Oh, this one's got some. It's got some light banding on it. Not really. Good find, Taylor. Little pretty green rock. Oh, look at that. Alright, so this has kind of been my method for what I like to call just combing the beach, where you just kind of wander aimlessly and look for agates. And next, I'm going to show you some clips of a more lazy method where you just kind of sit there and you look for agates through digging. This is an agate, but it has
Great. I really understood that well.
Alright, and while this is happening, I'm going to kind of explain an important thing, which is how you know when you kind of want to sit down and dig versus when you want to wander around combing the beach. And honestly, it depends on what you prefer to do and how you prefer to look for agates. But me personally, how I try to increase the amount of agates I find is if I'm walking around and I find a couple of little agates and a little tiny patch of gravel, what I'll do is I'll sit down at that patch of gravel and just kind of root around for a minute, and that way you'll be able to find possibly a bigger agate, because usually if you find a bunch of little agates in an area, there's a bigger chunk that they fell off of. And also, you just will find more alike pebbles around there. So if you see a bunch of things in one area, dig around a little bit. But if you're digging in a spot for a while and you can't find anything, then probably just move to a new spot, and hey, no harm, no foul. I'm trying to get around that little piece and get it out there. It has a really nice smoky color to it. It'd make a good, like, little ambulance.
Well, I say, what a magnificent pair of bananas. Oh, great heavens!
So, probably have to get around that, polish around there. But it's very nice. I'm not quite sure what it is. It might be agate, but it might be some type of zeolite. It's very nice. Very, very nice. Unfortunately, I learned that there was nothing in that rock, but I decided to keep this in here to show how easy it is to split open a large chunk of rock if you find a large exposed crack. All you have to do, get a chisel in there, whack it for a couple minutes, and it just comes apart right back. It's, it was pretty fun to knock it open, even though it was a big waste of time. But some onlookers at the beach were impressed. A couple of girls came up and were like, "Wow, I wasn't expecting you to do that. Like, you really fucking doubted me? Bitch. Fuck out of here. Don't doubt me." Usually once I get like a big rock broken off like this, I break it off into chunks. I just find like little cracks and go through. Here's a quick photo I took of all the agates we got. And on our way home from Tillamook, we stopped and got some ice cream from the creamery. Recommend it. Couldn't recommend it enough. If you're in the area, you must stop at the creamery.
And I dumped out that bag of rocks that were just from what Taylor and I have collected. And these are all the agates we found. This one's kind of impure. It's got a couple of chunks of stone through it. That's a little green rock that we like the look of. This might be like jadeite or something, I'm unsure. Again, I'm not an expert at identifying rocks. And this is probably the best find we found. This was found by Taylor. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So, I'm gonna dump these into a colander. I'm gonna give them a rinse off. And then after that, I'm gonna try and decide what I'm gonna do with most of them.
Alright. Alright, hopefully these little itty bitty pieces won't fall through. They might, in which case, say RIP to that little green one there. Look at these all washed up. These are gonna look beautiful polished.
Alright, and now, they're all cleaned off. Look at them again. It's that beautiful little chunk. This one, still on the matrix, unfortunately. This is probably my best one that I found. It's pretty clear. So I could probably like facet it or carve it into something. Maybe I'll try my hand at carving for once. So I have the equipment to. This one's a really thin piece of that. It came off of this right here, somewhere like right there. Just chipped right off, which is why I don't think this piece is good for faceting, because it just chips when it's struck. And this is probably one of my favorite parts I collected. This is just a clamshell, but look at that iridescence on it. Isn't it beautiful? More agate that's still partially on the matrix. It might be mostly chalcedony, less quartz, you know. Little tiny one, maybe once I get a tumbler again, I'll put it through and make some earrings out of it. This is what came from that big boulder I cracked open. I thought it was jasper, but I think it's just some matrix, some basic basalt or some iron. So I'm just gonna set it aside. It's not that great. And I'll just count that as a lesson on how easy it is to break open rocks. That is a beautiful little smoky piece of agate. It's got some banding there, you can see. Oh, it's beautiful. Come on, focus. Wow. Beautiful. There's so many more of this little, almost some nice coloration. At one point I collected so many agates on this one. It's been on there for like 2 hours. But at one point I realized that I collected so many agates that at some point I had to start going for quality over quantity, you know. So at some point it went from just whatever agate I found I picked up to, you know, I'll pick up the good ones and I'll drop the small ones. There were lots of people at Short Beach today. It was a great day for looking for agates. A couple people came up to me and were asking me about what I found. Lots of nice people today. Yeah, this is the haul, all cleaned up. Let me introduce you to something I haven't shown before. This is my bucket. You'll see I have some various stones we collected today in my hand. Well, this bucket right here, it's empty right now because it got emptied a couple weeks ago on accident. It is my to-tumble can. So whenever I get a rock tumbler again, I will be tumbling. I'll be using this bucket, whatever's in this bucket, to tumble. So I'm just sorting through these, deciding what's going to be tumbled, but I'm going to facet it.
what's good as is, because this thing, I'm not gonna do anything to this. This is just a nice little piece. Might just drill like a little hole through it, or maybe through the side, and I'll turn it into like a bracelet or a necklace or something. And what I'm showing off here is kind of my goal for this trip was to find some water level agates, or gravitationally banded agates as they're also known. And these are my 3 examples that I found today. Thanks for watching. Don't fucking mention my hat. Don't even look at it. You know what? You don't get to fucking see it. Anyways, that was my video. Thanks for watching. Um, I've been kind of experimenting with this whole editing thing. I've been trying to cut down on the video time, so if you kind of didn't like the fact that I had those sped up clips in there, just sound off in the comments so I know what you guys prefer to watch. Because I have no problem keeping them full length and just lengthening the yapping, but I tried to put it on like 4 times speed at some parts to shorten the time. So just let me know in the comments, and without further ado, shout out gals named Destiny. If your name's Destiny, this one's for you.